I'm experimenting with a number of things, which is why my eyes might be going in different directions. I'm recording something on my computer, which is how I've done the YouTube things before, and I'm live on Periscope, and I'm just experimenting different ways of loading things up. So I'm going to move you closer together. A while ago, one of our elders, Hugo Hay, who was at the time a business coach, did a daily dose of Dutch. I'm not sure I could. I've got the creativity to pull that off every day. Well, I don't have the streaming connection on the internet to do it every day. You won't necessarily get a daily dose of Darren, daily dose of Dutch. You won't get daily dose of Darren or Everyday in Essex or the Periscoping Presbyterian or whatever. But I thought just a few things to encourage people along the way, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do follow this on Periscope and so on. We live stream our services. All the details are on our website. If you've got any questions that you particularly want me to do little video clips on, send those in as well. But one of the things I thought of is here we are. We don't have much we can do about our current situation, and someone not from church, someone in a completely random setting rang me this morning, and he made a comment that the weather's nice, and whatever's going on, God has given us an opportunity to get to know Him better. A few people, we've got this extra time. People often ask, well, how do you do that? How do you study the Bible for yourself at home? And the main answer is just to do it, just to read it, to pray for God's help, and to read it. And so I do have some tools though. So some people at church would have come across one of these. So a lady at church, Alex, buys a load of these for church. Probably written backwards for you. Discover is the teens one that my son was using, and another one, more grown-up one, is Explore. There's a thing called Daily Bread, and if you go to the Good Book Company, they have a number of resources that you can explore. So it's www.thegoodbook.co.uk, and if you go to our website and scroll down, there's 10 of those. So there's lots of resources for reading the Bible for yourself. So have a look, find out what works for you. The other thing I would recommend is you can get this if you just Google it, and you go on to just Google McShane reading plan. Don't worry about the spelling, Google will sort that out. But there was a man called Murray McShane in Dundee a while ago at St Peter's, and he devised a reading plan that takes you through the whole Bible, takes you through the Old Testament in 1 year, New Testament and Psalms twice in a year. And it's 4 readings, so you do 4 chapters usually, or there's a pace yourself. So 1st of January you would read Genesis 1, Ezra 1, Matthew 1, Acts 1. So it gives a bit of variety and takes you through the whole Bible. If you read, say, just the left-hand columns for a year and the right-hand columns, you would have read the Old Testament in 2 years, and the New Testament in a year, and the Psalms twice. So you can pace it at what is reasonable for you. What he actually suggested was you would in the morning do a private devotion, and then a family one, and then the same in the evening, but however it works. Now you might think, well, I don't know the Bible that well, and it doesn't make sense to me. Something my Old Testament tutor said, and he's almost certainly not watching this, but he said God speaks just as loudly when you read quickly. So I find that if I don't understand something when I read it, don't stress. In a year's time, say, or whenever you read that passage again, it makes a lot more sense because of other things you've read in the Bible since. So don't worry, just keep on reading it, and you get to know it better. People then say, well, how about prayer? How does prayer, can I help my prayer life? This is a result. You're in good company. This is a helpful resource. It's called A Way to Pray. It was written by Matthew Henry some time ago, but it's been edited and revised by O. Palmer Robertson, who some of you know. It's very helpful because he writes out whole prayers that are drawn very heavily from Scripture. So you sort of using the Bible itself as the framework to structure your prayers, and it has a different sections in the book, and I'll try and find the contents now. So in the contents page, it divides up prayers into praise, confession, petition, thanksgiving, and intercession. And very kindly, Palmer and Joanna gave this to me for my birthday one year, and Joanna put in these little tags for each section. So what I do is I turn to praise, and I go through the praise section. I pray what is put there. I add some of my own things in. Praise is probably the hardest bit, really. And then I confess my sins. I've got plenty to add to what is put in there, and so on, all the way through. And then there are some prayers for particular occasions, some of them very relevant to where we are. There'll be a blog post that I've written about that coming out soon. So so a very helpful way of structuring your prayers, particularly praise. And then at the back, just some outlines for when you're feeling a bit more grown up about this. The main thing to do, the most important resource you have, actually will be one of these, which is a Bible. And you might want to have prayer diaries for mission partners that you use as well. I can't completely get my engineering past out of me. I've before done a spreadsheet with days done on one side and categories on the other. For example, to pray through every person at CPC, to pray for every member of my family, or I've got quite a large extended family, but for the ones I know reasonably well, for friends and mission partners and so on. So they're just sort of basic ideas that you could use for praying at home. Some of you may be busier at this time, some of you will have lots of time to kill. Well, use that time well. I was thinking, broadband permitting, tomorrow doing one on family worship and how that would work with younger children, older children, and when you're all grown-ups in the house.